Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about transforming theory into practice as far as theories of education and how they tie into different elements of technology. So, first off, there's different learning theories, and you're going to see two main ones. One's going to be student centered, and the other's teacher centered. Directed pedagogical models are going to be those teacher centered models, and this is going to come from work from men like B.F. Skinner, who's going to be using operant conditioning. And according to him, learning is shown by a change in behavior due to consequences. And so those behaviors are shaped by these contingencies of reinforcement. So positive reinforcement is going to increase a desired behavior, and it results from a different stimulus. And a negative reinforcement is also going to increase a desired behavior, but this time it results from avoiding or removing a stimulus. And then a punishment is a decrease in behavior from undesirable consequences. So what this means as far as technology is there's a lot of focus on mastery learning, the idea of drill and practice and reinforcing of different principles, and tutorial software programs that are out there for instruction. There's also the information processing theories, and this is going to be done by Atkinson and Shiffrin, and they're sometimes called cognitive learning theories. And this is learning is encoding information into your memory. And so you have memory stores in your brain, and you've got these sensory registers, and that is all information that you can sense. And then you have your short-term memory, sometimes called your working memory, and it's sort of that temporary holding place. And then long-term memory, this is unlimited space and can hold information indefinitely. So what does this mean as far as technology? This is the idea of cueing and attention getting and visualization, where you're using mnemonic devices and visual manipulatives. And this is also the part of it that contributes to the idea of artificial intelligence. And then you also have in here the drill and practice applications, because that's working on encoding information into that long-term memory. We also have in this one cognitive behavioralist theories, and this is coming from Robert Gagne, and he said learning is shaped by 9 events of instruction. So you have these 9 different situations, and if they're all lined up and in place, you're going to have learning. And unfortunately, that's going to differ in practice and based on different learning outcomes. But involved in this is this idea of hierarchy of prerequisite skills that are necessary before you can move on. So what this means for technology is only tutorials can accomplish all necessary events of this instruction. Anytime you're going to use a drill of practice or a simulation, it means that you're going to have teacher-led activities before or after in order to get all 9 levels that he discussed. So other theoretical foundations based on this teacher-centered or directed pedagogy. When you use this, and you will use this, there is time and place for both teacher-centered and student-centered. You're using this when you have mastery learning with clearly defined skills, when you're looking for a specific performance, or when you need more tutoring or practice, and most importantly, you're going to use this when learning has to be efficient. So then we move into student-centered learnings. And here we're talking about social activism. John Dewey, I know you've heard that name again, and you'll hear it many other times throughout your work here. And he created this philosophy of education that believes that curriculum comes from student interest, and that curricular topics have to be integrated, that you shouldn't teach social studies and then teach language arts and then teach science and then teach math, that they should weave in and out from one another. And that education is demonstrated through growth, that it happens through social experiences, and education needs to be hands-on. So what does this mean in technology? It means that curriculum needs to be intellectually challenging for these students, and that technology should be used to support collaborative and cooperative learning in your classroom. Then we have the social cognitive theory, and this is based on the work of Albert Bandura, who is one of my favorite theorists. And it says that learning results from behaviors and environment and personal factors, and students can learn either by their own action or by watching models. And self-efficacy here is key. They have to believe that they can accomplish tasks. And so what does this mean for technology? Well, videos are going to be awesome in this area, because videos can give them models that they can watch to learn things, or they can video themselves and then they can watch themselves do things and then critique what they're seeing and model after that. Then we also have Lev Vygotsky, another one of my favorites, and he says learning is a cognitive development. It's shaped by experience and your culture. And you've probably heard of ZPD before, zone of proximal development. And this is helping children accomplish things that might be tough for them, but they can do it with assistance. And what this means for technology is software's got to provide this idea of scaffolding. And in other words, that there's examples that can build on a learner's current level of understanding and take them to that next level. Then we also have child development theories that are at play, and this is Jean Piaget who's part of this. And this says learning requires cognitive growth, that a sense of maturity and interaction with the environment. And according to him, children are going to go through 4 stages of development: the sensory motor, pre-operational, concrete operational, and formal operational stages. And what this means for technology is that technology is meant as resources for examples, visual manipulatives, and different simulations, and that these are great when you're trying to teach those abstract concepts that children need to learn and do. Then there's also the idea of discovery learning, and this is Jerome Bruner's one of these theorists in here, and he says learning again is cognitive growth through interaction with the environment. And he believes that there's 3 stages: the inactive, the iconic, and the symbolic stages in learning. And he believes children remember better when they discover the learning for themselves. So what does this mean for technology? That we want technology that's going to allow students to discover concepts by exploring technology or using technology and simulations and examples to allow them to discover new things. That you want to use discovery learning with video-based problem scenarios, but you need to follow up with teacher support. So these social constructivist theories, what it means is that when you're looking for something that's inquiry-based, when you have concepts that are very complex or abstract, when you want hands-on visual activities, social collaboration, modeling, when building self-efficacy, this is a great one. And when time permits, because this is a more lengthier process, you can use discovery learning. So how does this directed and constructivist theories, how does this work? So when you're using that directed instruction, this is great when you're doing foundational skills, when you need a systematic approach to absolutely ensure that a prerequisite skill is learned. When you're using social constructivist learning, this is best for developing abilities and building and applying experience to unique problems. So when we're looking here with directed, it's great for identifying weak areas. We integrate it when we want to promote skill fluency or automaticity so that things are just happening automatically. Think in terms of like math facts. Integration to support efficient self-paced learning and to support learning concepts. Now, when we're integrating technology for these social constructivist models, we're using integration to foster creative problem solving and metacognition, in other words, thinking about your thinking. We also want to create mental models so that kids can think about what to expect beforehand and anticipate what they're going to see. It also helps increase knowledge transfer, and we want integration to foster group cooperation and skills and multicultural responsive knowledge. Now, either model is great when we're looking to motivate students to learn. Kids like working on the computers. They like working with technology. When we're trying to optimize scarce resources, technology, we insert that. When we want to remove different logistical hurdles to learning, such as field trips, how are we going to pay for buses to move our students? Technology. When we want to integrate the idea of digital citizenship and literacy, we turn to technology.